sharing our stories connects us. Listen and be connected. Join us for the conversation meeting weekly at the intersection of community and culture. Hosted by Mario Nunez and Joe King Carter. And this is when I usually ring my bell, Joey, and you notice that my bell is not on the table.
Where's your bell?
I'm going to get it right away. I promise you. I promise you, because we can't do a show without it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this, your Wednesday midday edition of The Conversation with Mario Nunez and Joe King Carter. You're listening. You're tuned into WMNF Radio Tampa 88.5. I'm looking across the monitor at Jessica Green, and she's just all smiles because she knows this is going to be a great show. You can listen to us from anywhere on the planet. Joey, it is.
No, I get it.
I'm not jinxing it.
I get it.
I'm inspiring people to be in that place.
I see that, yes.
So WMNF.org as well. You can listen to us from anywhere on the planet, and we hope that you will be listening to us from anywhere on the planet.
And
Joey,
our shows are available in archives.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So that's the voice. Those are the dulcet tones of my co-host, Joe King Carter. Joey.
Good morning. Good afternoon, I'm sorry.
Thank you, sir.
I slipped on Mario in there.
You slipped on Mario's banana peel. So tell us, how was your week?
How was my week? My week was wonderful. Life is delicious, and I'm full of gratitude. There are dark storms on the horizon, but I think we are going to have to work together through that, but that's great. I'm a little concerned that our Secretary of Health has instructed the NIH to create an autism registry in which HIPAA laws are violated and people's medical records are stored and collected by others. That concerns me a little bit. I'm wondering who will be the next registry after that one to pop up.
And then we have the Department of Defense and all the shenanigans therein. So,
yes.
We have a lot to be concerned.
There's a lot happening out there.
There's a lot to be concerned about. As we start our show each and every week, we kind of review the week past, and we always kind of gravitate towards the news of the day, which is to say all the shenanigans coming out of Washington.
And, I feel like, may I say, the reason I said that is because I really, in good conscience, can't just start a show here and have a delightful show in which we're going to share the narrative of a person and have some fun and enjoy ourselves without letting folks out there know that we are very deeply aware of what's happening around us. And we have not yet been in the place where our programming is going to allow us to go too deep into those issues. That's not what this show is about. But we just want all of you out there to know that we're paying attention, folks.
Temperance, absolutely. And to that, let me say that here's your PSA, which stands for Public Service Announcement. Here's your PSA, everybody. Listen, if you know somebody, a loved one, a friend, somebody who is the recipient of a little subsistence, a little stipend from the government, the state, in this case, your EBT card, or otherwise known as food stamps. Be mindful. Be mindful, because there are forces out there that are working against all of that goodness and all of that charity. I was a personal victim of that just recently. Fraud was perpetrated on the card that we use in my family. My sister-in-law, I'm not telling tales out of school, has a disability, and she uses these food stamp dollars to survive, essentially. And yesterday we found out the hard way that $225 had been lifted out of our account in California. When I pursued that, I went ahead and called everybody that I could, starting with the customer service line on the back of the card. They sent me down the rabbit hole, and here's what you need to know. Here's the takeaway. The takeaway is this. Use the app on your phone. Make sure that you shut off the card. You turn the card off essentially when it's not in use, because hackers are at play. I'm not saying Elon Musk and the Doge team, but I'm not saying not Elon Musk and the Doge team, because this happened in California. And here's the takeaway. The takeaway is there's nothing you can do by law to recover the funds once they're gone, and there's no fail-safe in place because they don't have the technology, apparently not willing to use it, when an EBT card is used 1,000, 2,000 miles away from where it's always being used to shut it down. So be mindful. There are evil forces at play. Joey.
Yes.
I'm telling you, man, it was embarrassing because there was a line behind me at the store.
Right.
And here we are putting the card in, and I put it in again, and I put the code in again, and it said, you have 12 cents.
Yes. Stealing from the needy, and you are someone who apparently has enough technological skill to be called a geek. That means you're a bright person who understands how to manipulate sophisticated technology. And this is your course of action, to steal from the needy. Well, okay,
that's where we are.
Be
Puppy.
that person. Huh?
That's where we are. So, all right, that's your PSA. Moving right along and into the show, we've got a wonderful show lined up for you today, and we're going to give you the phone number in just a few minutes to call, because I think today's conversation will elicit your commentary, not only your commentary, but also your questions. So, Joey, do the honors.
And maybe some love and enlightenment.
Do the honors and tell us who's sitting next to you with that smile on her face. I can see it from here.
Well, we have with us today the remarkable Christina Morita. And good afternoon, Christina.
Good afternoon.
So Christina is going to eventually be talking to us about things that have to do with the environment, and very important things. But before we do all that, we're going to start by getting to know her a little better. So, Christina, where did you grow up?
I am a true Tampa native.
Wait a minute, ladies and gentlemen, we're breaking news.
Oh, you just got Mario's attention.
This Tampeño is sitting up straighter and straighter in his chair right now. So all we need to do, once we've established that, then here's your street cred. Just tell us your elementary school, junior high, or middle school, and that whole thing, and your high school, and we'll know exactly where you grew up.
Well, elementary would be Esrig, middle would be Walker, and then my high school was Sickles High School.
Oh, wait a minute. I know that neighborhood because we live in that neighborhood.
Yeah,
that's
love
beautiful.
Sickles. Go Griffins.
Go Griffins, baby. Nobody knows what a griffin is, by the way. Do you know what a griffin
They're
is?
awesome.
Yeah, what is it? It's a mythical character.
It's like an eagle and a
lion
all together. It's amazing.
It's a cryptological creature.
It is. It's and mythological, too, whatever that is.
And mythological, that's right. Yeah. Excellent. Very good. So you
Christina,
grew up there.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
And do you have siblings? And
Yes, I have one sister. We're 15 years apart, so she's kind of like my sister mom.
Your sister mom.
Yeah.
That's a cool concept.
Did she grow up in the same area, too, of town?
Mm-hmm. Yep, my mom grew up in Clearwater, so she was Clearwater and Tampa.
Okay,
great.
Tornadoes, Clearwater Tornadoes, Clearwater High
Yes,
School.
it was the tornadoes.
Okay, we got it. We got it. We're getting it. We feel it now.
So you grow up in very North Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Citrus Park area.
Citrus Park. And then what happens after that? You go to high school, and then what happens?
Then I went to the University of Florida. Go Gators.
All right, now here we go. You don't see it, but I'm doing the Gator Chomp. Gator Chomp. There it is.
And I studied agriculture, education, and communication. I went into teaching after that in Hillsborough County Schools, and honestly, I love teaching. It's a passion of mine, and I still get to do it now, so it's kind of nice. I'm just not in the classroom, but I really love educating others.
So let's go back a little bit, not go gloss right over that. The education degree is in what again? Agriculture,
education.
Yeah, dig a little, scratch around there, Joey. Scratch around there.
And why would you be choosing that? How did that come about?
So I used to be an FFA when I was in Sickles in high school.
Okay.
Which stands for those people that might not know, the three people that are listening that don't know what FFA is.
Well, it used to be called Future Farmers of America. Right now it's just FFA, but it is an ag-based program that allows students to do leadership opportunities. And I was a little bit of animal science based when I was an FFA. I raised pigs and cows, which is kind of crazy.
Did you show at the Florida State Fair?
I did.
Yeah, of course you did.
Now, was your family a kind of agricultural family?
No, I was the odd duckling.
So you're in just a suburban setting. You don't have horses out back or anything.
We were ag zoned, but I was the only person with a pig in my back.
Oh, Christina, listen, we got 3 bell rings in the first 5 minutes of the show.
we go.
That one's for the pig, though. That one was for the pig.
So you're doing something really different.
Yeah, and it was really fun. And so I also did speaking competitions, which I really loved. And then I also did a couple leadership competitions when I was in FFA, and it just kind of sparked the passion to kind of go into agriculture, because I feel like nobody understands it, no one knows it, no one thinks a farmer, and, which we all should.
Absolutely.
But
Every day.
it's something that more people need to be educated about.
So let me ask you this burning question. It's always been in my mind, and believe it or not, over all these years, I've not really pinpointedly asked someone this. When you raise a pig, because I've known pigs personally, by the way, and pigs are
That was an uncomfortable laugh.
They are amazing. Right? You're going to concur.
Yes.
Amazing, intelligent,
very
wonderful
much so.
animals.
Sentient.
So how do ag kids, farm FFA kids, go through that transition that you may be raising a pig that you frankly love that may go to slaughter?
So I think that this is the most important lesson FFA kids learn, is to understand the industry. So I'm raising a pig, I'm raising a steer for fair. The first one was very hard. Giacomo.
Shout out to Giacomo.
I love Giacomo. But he was amazing and he was great. And they lived in my house. So yeah, they were pretty much like
Pets.
Like pets.
Pets, yeah.
So in my view and how I kind of explained it to my former students, I always said that, we're giving them the best life they've ever had or they ever will have.
Right.
And now they're going off to be processed.
Right.
That's the word.
Which it's not the funnest thing to think about, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think I gave my animals a better life than they ever would have.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
the students will too. So
Yes.
they also learn the responsibility of having an animal. They learn that, the hard truth about raising farm animals and what happens when they do go away.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't eat bacon for about a month after, but yeah, I did what I could.
Giacomo.
I live in Ybor City, and we have chickens everywhere in Ybor City.
Yes.
And I have several friends in Ybor City that have over time transitioned into becoming chicken caretakers, and they love chickens. And they start to turn chickens into pets. And the first thing that happens, Mario,
Tell me.
they stop eating chicken.
Of course.
They stop.
Of course.
And some of them stop pretty hard and pretty committed.
Well, they
Now,
should start eating them because they're raising them. You have probably the best fed chicken around.
Yeah, no, but they don't see it that way because I think what they're looking at is the kind of the sentience of the being inside the chicken, and they connect to that. That's what happens to us. I think all animals have that sentience at some level, of course. But I've always been intrigued, and you did a good job of describing it, because what you're really saying is, of all those animals in manufactured settings where they are being possibly tortured, you are actually doing it the way it should be done.
Correct.
Yeah.
Humanely.
Yeah.
Humanely.
And they're getting a good life, and believe me, they got a lot of love and a lot of holes dug in the yard.
So then that means that you're doing this in high school, and then you go to school and you get this agriculture education degree. Did you at that time have a kind of vision of where that might take you? Like, would you become a teacher? What did you think?
Yeah, there's many different options for us in that degree. I always knew I was going to be a teacher. I had 3 ag teachers in FFA when I was in Sickles, and honestly, they gave me that passion to want to go and teach. And I just, like I said, when I went into it, I knew that's where my heart was at, and it was very fulfilling to do that. And I have a lot of kids now. I say kids, they're like probably 20s and 30s at this point. But, they have their vet degree, they have their animal science degree, they're doing big things. And I love to be a piece of their little history.
Yeah, once you spark that and you open that door, most kids will embrace it as a means to an end, a career choice and a career path. And of course, if you come out of the University of Florida, with its exalted program, then you could also turn that into an opportunity to work for the state. I mean, Florida is big in agriculture, so you can always go to work in Tallahassee or anywhere else in the state for that matter.
Yeah, they have satellite. University of Florida IFAS has satellites everywhere, and they do all different things of research.
And I wanted to ask a question before we jump too far forward, because I'm going to go back to the high school days, junior high and high school days. I don't think Christina was carrying pom-poms around and she was cheerleading. I don't think she was in the band necessarily, because we know she was in FFA leadership. What kind of guys did that attract to you? I mean, you know what I mean? You got a pig for a pet? Come on now. He had to have had a sense of humor. And I say that lovingly, Christina.
Okay, I hit myself in the head with the little boat, baton.
Yes.
I tried out though. Okay, I tried.
Good.
But honestly, my husband now is my high school sweetheart.
Get out of town. And his name?
Yeah, Anthony Moretta.
Anthony.
Yes, and
We see you out there, Anthony.
I met him in French class.
Come on.
Wow.
And he's Dominican, so it was a very weird thing.
There's a screenplay here somewhere, or a rom-com.
Why are you not in Spanish class? But he was like, I wanted to take French. And I was like, okay. But, yeah, we met and we hit it off, and we've been together ever since.
What a great story.
Oh, wow.
What a great story.
And that also means you're a mom, right?
Yep, I have 2 kids. I have Maverick, which is 6, turning 7 in a couple months, and then Amelia, which is 5.
It would have been so perfect if you'd have said, I have Maverick and he's 4, and I have Goose and he's 2.5.
Oh,
and,
that's my dog. Goose is my
there
dog.
it is. There, I knew it
We
had
have
to
the
be in there.
wingman.
Come on now. Top Gun, the reference to Top Gun.
Right.
Thanks for playing along.
Yeah, there you go. Very good. So, okay, so he's been with you on this whole journey.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so now you're teaching. We got to that place where you get out of you've graduated from college. Now you're teaching, and then what happens that starts to change things?
I would say teaching really changed during COVID, and I think it really changed for a lot of teachers during COVID. It was just a completely different realm of teaching.
Sure.
I was teaching simultaneously, so I taught kids online and while I was teaching kids in class.
Teaching at a distance, which is very hard.
And none of the kids would turn on their, their screen, so it's like you don't know if they're there, you don't know, and it was just very hard. So I will say the first year of that was probably the most difficult. And then after the second year, they could kind of choose to be in school or choose to still kind of stay at, I think, home for a couple months when school started. And I could just tell how far behind. Like, I taught high school, and I could just see how far behind those kids were, even though I was giving them the same activities and the same. I did hands-on activities at home to kind of like modify it so they kind of would do the same things. I was vet assisting mostly, so mine was a lot of animal handling. But when they came back to class, it was like they were way behind. And it was nice to see my other students who had been in class teach them. So they were kind of showing them the skills that they had kind of missed while they weren't there. And that was kind of a nice thing to see. But I know it changed. It changed kind of the way, I guess, parents kind of see teachers, I kind of felt, and the students see teachers. And I think overall, I just didn't feel respected anymore.
Hence the importance of that little red schoolhouse that we all know about, and they still have one outside of Citrus Park Elementary School if you're ever driving right there on Gun Highway. But I would also think that once, scholastically, academically, from teacher-student perspective, once you start to uncouple that car, and once the kids get a little wayward and feral, kind of, it's hard to get them back. It's hard to bring them back into the fold.
It's hard enough maybe to establish the connection to begin with.
That's a good point.
And now COVID has made it even harder.
Yeah, and it's just, I feel like the parents, obviously I was a parent of children at that point, and we were having a hard time connecting with the teachers too. So it was, they're trying to connect with high school and with 7 different teachers, and maybe they're not getting the connection they normally would if we were all back in school. And so it was, like I said, it was a difficult time.
Say nothing of the connection with their classmates as well. That whole environment is so, it's like a big warm embrace when it's done properly. You even look forward to lunch because that's another time to socialize and stay connected. In between classes, you can talk about tests that are coming up, or, it's just, I can't imagine what it must have been like, how stressful that must have been for everybody.
Yeah, I can't.
So then that means that you start to change your feelings about teaching.
Yeah, what was I? I think I was 7 years into teaching. And I was really excited, honestly. My co-teacher that had been with me for a while had retired, and I had moved into his classroom, which was much bigger. So I made my program bigger. I was cleaning up some of the tools he had and replacing them with more vet assisting equipment so the kids could have more hands-on opportunities in my class. And I just had a feeling, like in my soul, like something needed to change. And I had went to another Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful cleanup, and I had talked to the board president and was kind of telling him about everything that had happened. And it kind of came about where, I guess a couple months after that, they called me and they're like, "Hey, do you want to come and, do the education position here?" And I was like, "Oh." And so
you're still in the teaching realm. You're still in that classroom sort of environment. And tell everybody what high school it was. Was it in Hillsborough County?
Yeah, I taught at Alonzo for the longest. I love Alonzo. We taught at Gaither for a little bit. I was just kind of temporary teaching there after I did own my own doggy daycare, which I didn't tell you, but it was I taught for a few years at Alonzo.
You had a side gig.
I actually left teaching for
To become
3 years.
entrepreneurial?
Yeah, I did. It was me and my another teacher had left to open up the Barkery in Lutz. And after a few years, when they tell you not to go into business with your friends, they're correct.
Oh.
we sold it.
There it is.
Yeah. And then I went back a couple more years teaching at Alonzo, and I loved it.
Okay. So the Barkery is no longer in process.
The Barkery is still functional. We sold it, so it's still
okay, good.
up and running.
Still a viable
and-
business?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's
honestly, we
right.
made a profit from day one, and it was amazing. When everyone tells you, like, don't go into business, that's a bad idea.
Depends on the business model. Depends on what your business is.
Yeah, we got a small business loan. They told me my business plan was the best they've ever seen. Pat on the back.
There you
There you
go.
go.
There you go.
Very good.
And from then on, we honestly made a profit from day one, and it was a very good business. And it's like I said, it's still alive and running right now.
Wow, very good. So now you're in this new position, and let's talk a little bit about that and how that's working.
Here,
how
now
that
we're getting
happened.
closer. Now we're getting closer to telling the real story.
That's right.
Yeah. So my first position at Keep Tampa Beautiful was like education. And
Now let's say it again.
Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful.
No, she said it right the first time.
I know, but I just
she
wanna
said
make sure
keep Tampa
everybody-
beautiful.
Yeah.
I rushed
and
it.
you know, I love that because that's who I am. But it is actually technically or literally keep Tampa Bay beautiful.
Yes.
Because we do work on the other side as well. the other
And
side of
Mario
Pinellas County.
has kind of
a bird in my saddle,
about Tampa Bay.
a bird under my saddle,
Yeah.
a stone in my shoe. That's for
okay.
another show.
I
That's
think
for another show.
You're entitled to have
Thank you,
that.
sir.
Yeah. So keep Tampa Bay beautiful.
Yeah, you're teaching.
All right.
Yes, yeah. So my first position was education and development. So I was running the annual auction and breakfast, but then I was also doing education outreach, which we still do, to all of just you can do community. We did the schools, we did corporates, pretty much anybody who wanted me to come and talk. I went to talk, and that's kind of what fueled me. Like I've always been in it to educate people about the environment and really especially youth in underserved communities. And so it kind of hit all of the spots when I was going out and being able to talk to everybody. And I got to learn a new side of like development, which I had done a little bit when I was teaching because I did run a few of our events. But that was a lot of fun. I didn't realize I'm probably one of the few that it puts the fun in fundraising. I love doing it. Not a lot of people like fundraising.
Joey.
Wow.
Joey. I think we can recruit her on the next fundraising
There we
drive
go,
for
yeah.
WMNF for the
Yeah, I've got-
conversation.
I've
Come
got
on
it.
now. She just let the cat out of the bag.
I've got a position for you.
Christina.
Yeah. You
Because
can-
we're trying to figure out how to put the fun in fundraising, and we think you do it. We're thinking we're doing a good job, but we think we can be better. So maybe you can give us that tutorial and come in and help us.
Because
pitch.
here at WMNF, of
Yeah.
course, we have to raise funds constantly.
community radio.
And by the way, let me just say at this moment that if you're out there and you'd like to drop something in the tip jar,
100%.
always feel free to do so, folks.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, this might be a good opportunity to say just in a minute or two, we're going to give you our station ID break. But I just want to say, because you mentioned events, and it was the first time that you'd had the opportunity to kind of be on the planning and development end of events. We've got an event coming up pretty soon here. WMNF presents Tropical Heat Wave. And for those of you that have been with us for a while and been listening to this wonderful, marvelous community radio station, we do this each and every year. So this year, it's Saturday, May the 10th. Right? Gates open at 5 p.m. Music runs from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. There are going to be 4 stages. Where's it going to be located? Joey knows this building intimately well.
It's going to be in the Ciclo Cabano.
It's going to be at the Cuban Club,
That's
everybody.
correct, yeah.
And you've got look, the lineup is pretty sexy. So please,
And
please,
let me say, from the
join us.
1960s, it's going to be a gas.
It's going to be a stone gas, baby.
It's gonna be a stone gas, baby.
So the tickets are available, tropicalheatwave.org. Tropicalheatwave.org.
There we go.
Join us. Why don't we do our station ID? And when we come back, we'll give the phone number away in case those out there in the community have a question for Christina.
Hi, I'm Hannah McAleer, and you're listening to The Conversation with Mario Nunez and Joe King Carter on WMNF 88.5 FM Tampa.
That was a sweet promo, wasn't it?
Heather, yeah, awesome.
Big shoes to fill,
Like all
Christina,
our
because you're
guests.
going to get a chance to do it at the
There
end of
you
our
go.
show as
Yeah,
well
there you
today.
go.
So let me give you all the phone number where you can reach out to us if you've got a comment or a question. Now, we're going to be talking in the second half of the show about Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful and all that entails and all the beautiful work that they're doing to keep our area, well, beautiful. The number is 813-239-9663. You can send us a text if you're too busy to call, 813-433-0888. 885. Emails are always welcomed. DJ@WMNF.org. Jessica Green will read your emails. Santiago is standing by on the phones. Let's hear from you, Tampa.
We are here. So you were talking about putting fun in fundraising. So
I love that.
talk a little bit about some of the fundraisers you've done, or how that works, or what is it about that you like?
So every year we do one big fundraiser, and it's really funny because yours is the tropical heat wave.
Yes.
Ours is tropical nights.
Love it. There it is.
Yeah, it's Tampa, right?
It is, and believe me, it's going to be tropical very soon here.
Oh, yeah. So we actually moved ours to October, so it's hopefully a little bit not as tropical.
Not as tropical, yeah.
But it's our yearly fundraiser, and we have a live auction. We have a silent auction. We do kind of like appetizers. Usually it was a taste of Tampa. We've in the past invited restaurants to come. This year we're having it at the Yacht Club, so we've kind of changed the layout of things. So it'll be kind of like appetizers, and we'll have steel drums inside. We'll have a DJ outside, and some kind of fun things going around that I don't want to ruin the surprise.
Very
I
nice.
see.
That's a wonderful teaser. I love it.
At the Yacht Club, too.
In October.
Beautiful setting.
Yeah, on
absolutely.
the water.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's Davis Island, correct?
That's right. It's right on the very tip by Peter O'Knight Airport.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I used to ride my bike out there, and I just adored it.
Well, if you extend the invitation, Joe and I will show up. We will show up.
That's
I will
right.
send that
We
over.
can eat hors d'oeuvres.
Apps with the best of
Yeah,
them.
with the best of
Hello, and dance to the steel drums.
Hey, maybe MC.
Well, listen, I've been known to do that. In fact, I just did that last Friday. I didn't mention it at the top of the show, but I will mention it now. Allison Fonseca, who is everybody who knows her smoking Cuban sandwiches is renowned in the area.
Amazing.
Yeah, she's wonderful. She just had a fundraiser at Mosey, and I was really fortunate to be given the opportunity to help her put the fun in fundraising. We did some good work.
Yes.
A Servant's Way is her nonprofit, and Revive and Relive. I want to say Revive and Relive is the secondary 501c3 that was working. They were all working together. It was really well attended. There was food, there was merriment, and there was a lot of fundraising going on. So
And
yes,
the museum,
we will
the Museum
have
of Science and Industry is one of the great resources we have here in Tampa.
Mosey, and for those of you that may not know, they have just opened up a new planetarium that is probably 4 to 5 times the size of
Yes.
the old one. It is
Yeah.
spectacular.
Wonderful, yeah.
And well, there's a little plug for Mosey, and why not?
There you go. Yeah. So now, from on a day-to-day basis, what are you doing typically now? Or you have actually? Well, let me back into this. I'm sorry. Am I being clumsy?
Yes.
You started out in one position, but your positions have changed.
Yes. I have been able to kind of grow in my position and get a different opportunity. I was able to apply for our executive director position when it came open. Our executive director of 27 years is retiring. She is amazing and have huge shoes to fill. But I was able to apply, and the board decided that I was one of the best options, and they offered it to me.
Congratulations.
Nice, very good,
Yes.
very, very good. So can we get the retiring executive director's name so we can give her love?
Yes, Debbie Evenson
There you go.
is the retiring executive director, and she's honestly been amazing. She's done a just huge change to the Tampa parks and our just the beautification of our area. And
I love our
she's-
green spaces.
Just green spaces. We have a partnership with the Florida State Fair Authority, and we have a 1 acre piece of property that that was her kind of baby back in the day, and she got that started. It's beautiful now. It's a 1 acre piece of property that has raised beds. It has vertigrow system, which is like the tall gardening system.
And where is this located?
The Florida State Fairgrounds.
Oh, okay. I see. Yes.
So they
right,
gave us
right.
the 1 acre piece of property, and it's a really great teaching tool for
course.
sustainability. Also, Master Gardener, UF Master Gardener classes go there, and they get their hours there.
You've got all the livestock exhibits during the fair run, so that it kind of dovetails in. It kind of seems like it fits.
Yeah, and we work with a couple other organizations during the fair, and we do kind of like a little fun tabling event where they can come and they do a search and find in the garden and kind of get more agriculture facts about each crop we're growing. In the past, we've done like a salsa making class there, and I think chocolate strawberry dipping in different areas
Hello?
and things like that. So I think like little fun things.
You had us at chocolate strawberry dipping. We like that.
Yeah. So you are now the new director? Is that official?
Yes. I am now officially the new executive director. Her last day will be next week.
Should we show up for the cake and ice cream that they're going to have for her? I'm sure.
We're doing a potluck.
Nice. Well, we'll bring something. We'll bring some scacciata from Alessi Bakery. How's that?
Yes.
So you're going to move into that position and be sitting at the big desk and doing all these things.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
So on an ongoing basis, Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful give me some ideas of some of the programs and
Some of the
services that
projects
you
you've
do.
just gotten through with, maybe.
Yeah, we are constantly doing things. We do projects 365 days out of the year because we're volunteer based. So we're a small staff of, I think we have 6 full-time and two part-time staff members. So, I mean, we're relatively small, but we work with 23,000 volunteers in Hillsborough County. And last year alone, we picked up about...
Well, wait a minute. 23,000 volunteers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And these are often people who want to make Tampa Bay a better place?
Yeah. And so...
Service clubs from high schools that need hours, volunteer hours.
I mean, that's my bread and butter. I love that.
There you go.
Like service, we'll give you service hours for everything.
100%.
Go clean up.
Churches that might have outings planned.
Yeah. Community groups, school groups, just a single person just wanting to be able to
Help.
do better in their community.
Wow.
We give free supplies to anybody wanting to help. And so all they have to do is go to our website, request cleanup supplies, and we give them out.
Wow.
But we also do Adopt a Road, which is kind of neat. And there's Adopt a Road, shoreline, beach. But you adopt a 1 mile area and you get a sign that says, clean, by like this company.
Get out of town. That's a great idea.
So you could do it on this road.
Joey,
And-
come on, man. Adopted by the Conversation, WMNF.
Well,
be
there you go. Of course.
You get your little picker device, you go out there and you pick up the little trash, whatever needs to be done.
We could do that in front of my house.
Okay.
No, yes, I get the idea. I think it's an amazing idea.
I love that. No, but it's great because it gets the community out there, and then they see their name and
Their ownership. They have
hopefully, if it's clean, they're not like, oh God, it's not. Some areas are dirtier than the others, and a lot of community groups who do adopt these, like a lot of companies who adopt these, it's a high need area, so it's great to have those high need roads able to be cleaned. At least 4 times a year. Because a lot of times people when they request a cleanup, they want a beach or they want a park.
I know beaches are so popular.
they're nice.
So much
It's
fun.
pretty, right?
It is, and it's nice to be walking out there. And then, of course, you're on the beach.
Yeah.
Do you sometimes adopt parts of shorelines that aren't beaches?
Yes, we do have
Riverfront,
some of them.
lakefronts.
Yeah, we have different programs. It's on our website. I know on our adoptions. And
Give that website.
It's www.keeptampabaybeautiful.org. And then they would just go to the volunteer tab, and drop down and hit adoptions, and they get more information on all the adoption information.
Excellent.
We've done that before, Joey. Sally and I have been. We were in Horizon Park once, which is Al Lopez Park. We were at Tower Park, right there by the Sulphur Springs Tower.
Yes, Tower Park's a good one.
Yeah, and we it's a lot of fun. It's not labor intensive. I mean, you wear your gloves, you've got your bag, you get your picker, and you just go around, and at the end, 15, 20 minutes, an hour, whatever you can spend. It's just, you feel good. You feel like you're contributing.
Oh, absolutely.
To the common good and the common space. And of course, if it's someplace that you frequent, then you take ownership of it, and it's even better. We've got a caller. I'd like to bring in our caller to make sure that we honor all of our callers today. So if we can do that, we're going to do that right about now. Hey, caller, you're on the air. It looks like it's Miss Kara Ortiz from Tampa. Hi, Kara. Tara. It says Kara, but I know it's Tara because I'm reading. Listen to me. Okay, full disclosure. I set up this caller. Full disclosure. I'm gonna flip the cards right now. So I'm reading off of the board and it says Kara Ortiz. And I'm thinking, Mario, that's Tara. You want to say Tara? You've only known her since you were 6 years old. It's Tara.
Right.
Hi, Tara.
Hi, Mario. And I'm loving the conversation. Wow. And adopt a road. Oh my gosh, I'm totally going to do that for our club. I just wanted to say thanks for your wonderful guest and all her information. Several of us club members from Casa Tampena we participated in the Friends of the Friends of the River Walk yesterday for Earth Day, and
Earth
it
Day.
was so beautiful. The morning was beautiful, and to give back, like you said, Mario, is so wonderful. It's a great feeling to do something for your community. I have to say, is that part of Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful?
Yes, so the Friends of the River Walk is a great partnership, and so we give them all the supplies, and then they plan amazing cleanups, and honestly, they get a really good turnout. So it's one of the many partners we have that really do a great job.
Yeah, the staff was super friendly, and it was so well organized, and it was well attended, and they even mentioned that hotel guests were just coming up and asking for bags.
Volunteerism.
Isn't that just
I love that.
beautiful?
Did you hear that, Tara? Voluntourism. I love that. That's a new phrase. I'm writing it down.
I'm writing it down. Tourism. Anyways, I just thought I'd let you know that if that's part of your organization, they did a standout job yesterday. It was just wonderful. Yeah.
You picked a good one.
Kudos to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. Thanks for sharing your experience. We
Thank
love
you, Tara.
and thanks for listening as always.
All right, baby. Take care.
You
Have
too.
a great day, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah, no, she picked a good one. But they're all probably in their own special way good. And maybe some are a little more organized than others because, let's face it, if you've been doing this for a little while,
Sure.
then you've got the template in place. You know
Yes.
exactly how to run it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we formed the first neighborhood association in Ybor City in the early 90s, the place was in bad shape in many ways. And people had been dumping on empty lots that are now have townhouses on them. And so our neighborhood association would organize a cleanup. And we'd take a Saturday and we'd go out with a couple of pickup trucks. I owned one and somebody else in the neighborhood had a pickup truck. And we'd pick up sofas and bags of stuff and we'd clean up. And what I realized from that was the tremendous a sense of self-satisfaction. It's kind of like even in your home, if you have an area that's disorganized and messy and you clean it up and you stand back and you look at it and you go, oh, I feel really good about this now. I've done something. Now I can sit down with an iced tea and not worry about things. It's that feeling. It's a feeling of contentment and completion.
Christina, what do you find might be some of the more challenging things for you in your new position and as you continue to grow and progress? Maybe give us the highlights and lowlights of what you found in the early go.
I would say just connecting with all of what my former boss has, just all the connections. I mean, she knows everybody. They've known her
27
for
years.
27
Yeah,
years. Yeah,
that's a good little while.
It's been a while. And so, the new person in, them just trying to make those connections and make sure that they feel valued because we work on sponsors. I mean, we have most of our sponsors are funding all of our environmental programs. So making sure they feel valued and making sure those connections are still there so we can have as many, 26,000 volunteers or 23,000 volunteers with all those supplies. I mean, it's a lot of money. So
Of course, I was just going to say the bags and the pickers and all those, they don't buy themselves.
no, and those pickers are expensive to replace.
And where does that funding come from?
It comes from, we have major sponsors and we have all the way from, people who just donate monthly $20. I mean, any donation helps us continue our mission. So our annual fundraiser is great. It used to bring in most of our funding and now it brings in, I would say like a quarter of it, which is, it's still great, but a lot of it comes from major funders that are doing really great things in our community. We just recently got a truck from Carnival, which was amazing.
That's cool. Carnival, as in Carnival Cruise Lines?
Yeah, Carnival Cruise Line. So we needed a truck, which we really needed. It's a Ford Maverick, so it's a hybrid. So
All right, y'all, go out and take a Carnival cruise now. Do something. I don't know. Support them. So is there a challenge, immediate challenge in your future that you have a need?
So this, I would say a need would be, we do need volunteers this Saturday. We have Coca-Cola Beverages Florida is having a tree planting, invasive removal, among a whole bunch of other projects at Rolette Park. We definitely need volunteers for that. So
Rolette Park.
We have a sign up on our Eventbrite, which they can also find on our website. But we do need volunteers for that.
Do you have a Facebook presence as well?
Yep,
Because
we're
we know so
Facebook
many
and
people that
Instagram.
love Facebook and Instagram as well. So
Right,
good, then they can
right.
find you there also.
Yes.
So just to be clear, not to leave that behind, so you don't receive any kind of public funding or grant funding? Or
So we do apply for a lot of grants. So a lot, this year
That's real competitive.
This year we're focusing on the tree canopy because we've lost so much during the hurricane.
Correct.
So we're actually working with Suncoast Credit Union. It's called Plant Your Heart Out, and this is where residents can apply to get a free tree. So
Excellent.
we can replace the canopy.
Oh, I love that.
Excellent.
That is so
And
excellent.
they can find that on our website. So that is definitely, like, if I could walk away with anything today, apply for a free tree. We'll give you even a free shovel. We have lots of shovels.
Oh, come on.
For everybody.
Yeah.
And then we also have care guides. So you're not just getting a tree and not understanding how to plant it and how to water it and everything.
Yeah, and we've been working on this with our, again, in Ybor City, and the mayor's proposals, her program to introduce more tree canopy. Once you start to delve into that subject, you realize how important
the canopy is.
tree canopy is, because you have these things they call heat zones,
island
and
effect,
heat
yeah.
islands, and you don't really realize how destructive they are in the community and how they affect the community.
And Tampa,
that's great stuff.
Tampa
that you're
is
doing.
renowned for its tree canopy. It's one of the cities across the country. We've had this conversation every.
We had it last week.
Yeah, indeed we did.
But the truth is, our canopy is not very good.
Well, it sure looks good from the air when you're
But
flying
it's not.
in. I got to
But
be
it
honest
really
with
is
you.
not. It's very. You go into the middle
It's
of downtown
deficient.
Tampa.
Well, I'm thinking.
Well,
me.
that's square miles and square miles of
It's
heat,
hot.
Island.
Yeah, no, I digress. I'm thinking of the South Tampa Peninsula, and I'm thinking of Hyde Park, and I'm thinking of the flight path
Yeah.
when the flights are coming in.
But it's not like that. And here's what
landing from
happens:
the
is
south.
the moment development comes in, the first thing they want to do
whack trees.
is remove a tree.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And we
last
talked
week.
about that last week. So your organization doing this, I love hearing that.
Yay, I love that. Yeah, like I said, we're really trying to push trees this year. We're among doing all of the cleanups that we're normally doing. We also do like invasive plant removals.
Education on that as well,
yeah,
because that's super important.
Yeah, if you're a teacher or a company or a community group that has to come out and talk about a certain topic, we're more than happy to come out. And hopefully during summer, we're going to have our summer cleanup series. We will have something called Cleanup Kids Club, which is something new that we're trying to create right now.
Nice. I was just going to suggest to you, get those sixth graders involved, because if you get them young, you get them early. You might just give them the importance of.
Let's indoctrinate them.
Yes, but this is good. And as my friend Joe says, let's indoctrinate them. I'm thinking, you know what? There's nothing really and truthfully. I challenge both of you sitting here with me to come up with one, bad thing or off-putting thing or wrong-headed thing that an organization like Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful can possibly do. I mean, the whole mission statement is to add aesthetic beauty to your environment and help the river stay clean. What possibly bad could come from that? Or, am I wrong?
I will tell you, every cleanup we have, every event we have,
it's a good feeling.
You never see an unhappy person.
There you go.
Ever.
Ring that bell, Mario.
I love that. That's probably one of my favorite things when I go to a cleanup. Everyone's excited.
Of course.
After gas.
They're smiling at each other for no apparent reason.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't even know each other.
Yeah, you're coming back with a bag full of empty plastic bottles going, look what I got. Like an Easter egg hunt. Yeah. Look what I did.
The After Gasparilla cleanup is crazy because
that's your.
They cannot wait to show you the
all
weird
the beads.
things.
Oh, yeah. The weird things. The weird things.
that they find.
So is that your biggest
Wait a minute, this got interesting.
Yeah, no. Is that the biggest event of the year for you, Christina? Would you say?
We have many big. I would say.
What's your biggest one?
Biggest one would be Hillsborough River and Coastal Cleanup. It happens in September.
Okay.
But it's kind of a call to action to all of Hillsborough County. So it's kind of
big area.
We do a one day, but it's also multiple days as well. People can go out and everybody can clean Hillsborough County. I would say our biggest event is probably between After Gasparilla and we have the Great Port Cleanup that we partner with the Port of Tampa Bay. And so we have sites outside the port cleaning up and we have sites inside the port. So the port authority, people that have the badges and everything.
Yes. Access to those certain areas where you need
the
to
special areas. And so they clean. And so it's a really fun clean. That's I would say the heaviest cleanup because that's the weight of the items versus Gasparilla, it depends really, but we're finding a lot of beads. We had an entire F-250 filled with beads this year to donate to the McDonald Training Center.
That's another show we can do, Joey. We could do another show on just how wasteful that can be, and it is.
Oh, it is, absolutely.
Anything that you can think of.
By the way, what is that weirdest thing that's ever been found out there?
Okay. Let's do that weird thing.
that you can actually talk about without being embarrassed on it?
Can I say anything?
Well,
I don't know. The FCC, I don't know.
I think you can.
Pretty much. Can you describe it to us? Is it bigger than a breadbasket? I don't know.
would say
Is it something that comes under the category of a marital aid?
Well, that was on the
Ouch.
boat. We have a boat, and so that was found on a boat.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yes,
there we
that
go.
was yes. But I would say during After Gasparilla, some kid found a huge bong, and he was very excited to show everybody what that. I'm like, we're gonna throw that away, right?
Look at this bong.
I was like, oh gosh.
Anything that you can think of that, like, okay, might be okay, like, okay, this is for more advanced clean. These are for the personnel that have been doing this for a while because this requires a little more nuance or maybe a little more dangerous. Not dangerous, that's, but just requires more caution. A lot of these are benign with the little cigarette butts or the bubblegum wrappers.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you do cleanups that, like you said, require heavy equipment.
Yeah. So, honestly, if anybody goes out and they're doing a cleanup and they find illegal dumping, they can just put all of their trash near it. And so when we call in to get the trash removed by either the city or the county, because we do work very closely with city and county parks, they're able to go pick all of that stuff up. But honestly, just if you keep yourself and everyone accountable and call code as soon as you see illegal dumping, I feel like that's going to help keep those large amounts of trash off the street.
Excellent idea. Code enforcement, they've got to be there.
Yeah, you got to call, because if you don't, if you're like, oh, someone else will call, no one's going to call. Just like no one's going to pick up the trash on the floor if you just walk past it either.
Yeah, I think that some people, my experience, again, working in sort of low-level political situations with neighborhood associations, is that people think that code enforcement is somehow, there's a code enforcement operative driving around looking for things. That's not the way it works. It's totally complaint-driven.
Yes.
And so if you're not making that call, it's not going to happen.
They are driving around, but they're driving around with a list of things that if people have called in, so they're checking on. They're not
That's
just
right.
driving around
It
looking
is a
for violations.
complaint-driven system. Period.
And oh, by the way, because I've talked to these guys at length. I have their number speed dial on my phone because I am that guy. I am that guy that if I drive around and I say, oh, absolutely. I'll call for debris in the highway. I'll call the highway patrol because, there's debris on the highway, because that could cause a fatality. That could cause a real problem. But these guys are out there, and there's so few of them. There's like two inspectors, two code enforcement inspectors for like all of the city of Tampa, which when you think about it, goes all the way down to Port Tampa, the peninsula all the way down to the base. And it's just a large area. So what's the takeaway? Christina's asking you guys to be her eyes and ears out there and call. If you see something, say something, right?
So, Christina, it sounds like the overall impression I'm getting is that a lot of Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful works on partnerships.
Yes. We're partnership driven. I mean, a lot of our bigger cleanups are corporate cleanups, which is amazing because corporates do have that social responsibility to go out and do something nice in the community. And they honestly have a lot of fun when they're doing our cleanups. We like I said, we have a boat and we have kayaks, so they love to do that. And honestly, for me, it's a good teaching tool because I feel like when someone sees something on the river, that's a big impact because you're like, whoa, how did that get there?
Exactly.
And it's like, the storm
Right.
drains all lead to the river.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
And if the storm drains aren't kept clean and functioning properly when the hurricanes come and the water events come, problems. Ask the people up there by Babe Zaharias Golf Course when the pumps failed. The other thing, too, is kind of fun. I can throw this at you because it's, when you have a group, and Tara alluded to it with her Casa Tampeña girls. When you show up and 20 people show up with their jerseys on, their team shirts, orange shirts or yellow shirts, it looks cool.
They're
and then,
excited.
everybody's excited. It's like, this is a big event. Let's go.
So you're helping the environment and
Yes.
spreading love.
Correct.
At the same time. That's why she's smiling so
Yeah,
much.
no, she hasn't stopped smiling. I mean, I know you guys can't see it.
I mean, like I said, I love teaching, but this job has given me so much joy and I can affect so many people. It's an amazing feeling. I mean, who doesn't like to feel good every day what they're
Absolutely.
doing for work? I mean, I'm a very
Absolutely.
lucky person.
Hence your predecessor was there 27 years. So I think, and because we are who we are as a society, and a lot of times we're derelict in being responsible with disposing of our things. It sounds to me like if you wanted to, you can raise all of your children through college here. There's a lot of job security for you if you wanted to stick and stay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be here forever. I'm never leaving, unless they're kicking me out. But we're part of Keep America Beautiful, and we have sister affiliates out there too. So honestly, if you can't get involved because we're not in your area, there's many other ways to get involved with any of the counties. So Pinellas has one.
And Joey,
Pelham,
we've been hearing about
Pasco.
Keep America Beautiful since we were young. I mean, that's
absolutely.
an organization that's been around for lots and lots of
Absolutely.
years.
Yeah.
So, and again, just good work, man. I mean, if if you think of parks and recreation, like you think, okay, you go to a city park, and and you go to the playground with your kids, your grandkids, and the playground's unkempt, or it could be better, it could be spruced up. These are the things that either Parks and Rec work with you guys that keep Tampa Bay beautiful, just to make it. Look, I'm that guy, man. If I'm out there and I see a wrapper flying around, I pick it up and I put it in the receptacle.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I get it. Yeah. So, Keep America Beautiful. Sort of over time, we became more informed and educated, and then we started looking more at sustainability and the environment and what affects the environment.
Joey, do you remember the commercial? And you might be a little too young for this, Christina, but do you remember the commercial when we were black and white TV, early days, it's early 60s? Mm-hmm. The Native American, the chief, the Indian chief.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then the throwing of the garbage out of the window of the car, and the chief with the tear.
crying.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was impactful, wasn't it? It was to me. It was.
Yeah.
Don't be a litter bug. Don't be a litter bug.
Right. There was an attempt to be made to stop
that
people
connection.
from littering. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's next on the agenda or on the horizon for your organization? I mean, what do you...
Great question.
Yeah. So, like I said, we do projects all the time, and it's really just, I guess, getting the word out there so more people know about us and know how to connect. Like your friend was saying,
Sarah?
the Friends of the Riverwalk is our partner. The Florida Aquarium is our partner. So whenever you really see someone out there cleaning, it's through us. So come get your free supplies. Come get a free tree. Contact us. We want to give you things because we have the supplies for you.
How does someone get a free tree?
Yes. Come on, because I want a free tree.
Yes, please. So
Are they fruit bearing? Please.
We don't have
Mangoes?
fruit bearing
Avocados?
right now. We have shade trees.
Okay, we'll take it.
But we do have a couple things through Arbor Day Foundation that potentially was giving away fruit trees. So I can always do that. But on our website right now is just shade trees. So if you've lost a shade tree because it fell on your car or your house or wherever.
Or if the trees that are planted by the state that surround a retention pond are the slowest growing, ugliest trees you've ever seen, and you want to replace them.
Go to our website.
We have to do something. I drive around and sometimes I see these and they're frightening. Could you put a little more forethought into this? These trees, they're horrible. There's so many trees that grow beautifully and fast and they flower. And the tabi bui trees are gorgeous. The jacarandas or whatever that is. The color. Just give me some color.
I know we have some crepe myrtles. I think we have
crepe myrtles are
outstanding.
What's the one with all the pretty colors too that has all the long thorns though? That's not crepe myrtle.
Bougainvillea.
Yeah, no, not those though.
Yeah,
not those.
Those are beautiful but scary.
Gosh, don't get close to them.
No.
Bougainvillea.
Got a couple of minutes left. Is there anything that we haven't asked you, or anything that you came in here today knowing that you absolutely wanted to express to the constituency out there, to our residents?
I guess. Honestly, being a good steward of the environment doesn't have to be complicated. I mean, people can, if you can't do a cleanup because of time or whatnot, just switch to a reusable water bottle. Turn off your water when you're brushing your teeth. Just make those little switches to really just help our environment. I mean, there's little things you can do. If you educate someone on why the storm drain from out of town, they don't know. They're up from up north. They come here and they're like, oh, it's fine. The storm drains have grates. No, the storm drains do not. That is such a big thing for me. Educating on storm drain awareness is just nobody knows.
And it's so big for us. It's huge.
It is.
We have our ditch system, and that's kind of archaic. It still works.
Yes.
And that's why it's there still. But the number one thing that we need to make sure that we always do is keep those viaducts and those storm drains free and clear.
Yeah.
Walk down your street. I do this too. Walk down your street, and you know where the little water drains from your street and ultimately goes to one of those retention ponds? Look in there. Because chances are there's plastic bottles floating in there and all those things, and all that debris clogs it all up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you see a little floating device which is holding all that trash, don't call us to complain because it's doing its job.
Right.
Because it is a pelican barrier, so it actually keeps the trash from going out into the river or the bay.
There you go.
And we have those adopted. We have some of them adopted, but we also do clean those up too. So that's a lot of trash.
Well, Joe and I are going to promise you right now, right, Joey? We're going to promise that we're going to get it. We're going to adopt a street. We're going to do our part in seeing what we can.
A street, or maybe I'm not sure. We have to think about what.
Okay,
we want to
we'll get
adopt.
some advice from the boss. She'll tell us what works best for us.
Yeah,
but we
maybe-
want to have our name somewhere out there in the community. Yeah, we want to be
absolutely.
responsible
The
stewards.
conversation.
Sure.
I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll be there. Sure.
Well, this has been exciting. I love it. And this is why we do the show, everybody. This is why we do the show, to keep you informed, entertained. And today you got an education on how important it is to be good stewards of our community when it comes to things like
So important.
disposing of your trash properly.
That's right.
Helping your neighbor, inform your neighbor, keep your neighbor, leaning into all of this good, responsible citizenship. Joey, what's coming up next?
What's coming up next? Well, let me just first of all say thank you to Jessica Green, Jessica G, the OG. She's been wonderful today.
She's right there. She's just quiet today. She's doing quiet work today.
But she makes all of
Jessica,
this work.
you there?
Yeah, she's
Okay. She shook her head.
Yeah, she shook her head. And also, I want to thank Santiago on the phone. Thank you so much, sir.
Santi, who never complains, never
No.
asks for a
He's
raise,
just
never
back
asks for
there
anything.
being the guy. That's good. And then coming up next, we have the master of musical tunes.
Merrimans, yeah, they're 3 M's.
Magical Merrimans. That's
Yeah,
good.
master of musical
Jim
merriment.
Bannon. Stay tuned for Jim Bannon. He does such an excellent job of programming in the afternoon.
So let me say, on behalf of my co-host, Joe King Carter, I'm Mario Nunez. Thank you, Christina Moretta, for coming in today and sharing your passion with us. And we really know that it is
Yes,
your passion.
thank you so much, Christina.
You can stop smiling now. Hey, thank you, everybody, for listening. You've been listening to The Conversation on WMNF 88.5 Tampa.